Oh, yeah, that is. This is Between Hook Sets. I'm Chasen Walter from In Through the Outdoors with my partner in slime, Curt Underhill from the Fishing Crew.
What is going on, dude?
Little Christmas.
Little Christmas? You're on remote again, huh?
Yeah, on remote. Came over to Brookings to hang out with Mom and Cade and have a little Christmas. Last month, I got here and then the weather just turned to crap, and I'm like, well, I'm going back to Mobridge before it gets too crappy because I just don't want to deal with driving in bad weather. And now it looks like this gorgeous weather we're supposed to have isn't going to be as nice. And then I'm going to drive into a 35-mile-an-hour wind. So I think I'll leave my wheelhouse here and just go back with my portable and hit the ice on Oahe. I'm amazed now that I live out there and actually live on the lake or the river. I can't believe that it's locked up in Mobridge from one end to the other. And then it's wide open at Whitlock.
Merry Christmas, Dustin.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. No doubt there. Miss you. Yeah, I'm just
Merry Christmas, Uncle Lou.
Yeah, Uncle Lou, how do you do? Merry Christmas to you. I'm just floored, but like you said, you can be in a bay somewhere down by you in Spring Creek, Cow Creek, whatever it happens to be, and then you go out and it's wide open. So that's the weird and the scary thing altogether. But there's so many portables on the ice around Mobridge. Time for me to go fishing. I haven't fished for a couple months. It's driving me crazy, and then I wind up, I wrap up the whole open water season at walleye 7, me 0, and that hurt. But the more guys I talk to, the more that have said it's just been Merry Christmas. It's just been a bitch,
Yeah.
And I talk to guys in Mobridge at the cafe or wherever I happen to be, and they'll talk about sitting there watching these walleye come up, and they'll come up and they'll look and they'll just leave. And so I don't know. I don't know. I hope we get some gamies on and find out, is the system that healthy with it? I mean, they've got forage, they've got the food, they've got everything they need. They don't need to bite a dangling spoon that's making noise with a head on the bottom of it. I think we're going to have to get creative this year. Maybe, I don't know. But
and I was talking to some guys. It'll be really interesting to see what the river fishing brings this year, right? Yeah. So the gizzard shad are not supposed to winter, right? They're supposed to die off. And, it's supposed to be, they're supposed to die off. Well, I don't think they died off last winter because it never really locked up for too very long.
Right.
And if they die off, does that mean, because I've seen them like a couple years ago, we're getting comments like crazy. Dustin said we can come over to Webster and get on fish. He'll help us. We'll do that, buddy. Merry Christmas, Bryce. 70 degrees. Put the boat away a little too early.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, Dana.
My goodness.
But
was that Dana Carlson? Is she paying attention?
She must be.
I'll be done. You know what, Dana? I'm sorry I haven't seen your posts for a couple of months. I don't know what happened, why you fell out of my feed or whatever, but you're always good for something. I love watching you. It's just a ton of fun. I'm glad you're hanging out tonight, and Merry Christmas to you all, by the way. Thanks for taking a little time away from the family or whatever you're doing on Christmas Eve and hanging out. If you've got smart ass comments or you got something to say, go ahead and say it, because we're all ears and eyes tonight, no doubt.
Yeah. But yeah, so like a couple years ago when it did freeze hard down here, we were fishing out right off of the Bokaboji Point, and you'd look down your hole and you just see like zombie fish. Really? Like the gizzard shad would just be like so slow under. You could watch them in an 8-inch ice hole. You could watch them for probably 10 to 15 seconds.
Right.
Because they just swam so slow through that hole. Well, if they die off, is that going to give an abundance of bait where the fish don't even really need to work for bait?
That's kind of what that's where I'm at, and I don't know that much. It's just common sense says that's probably the deal.
So it might be a harder bite for walleyes in Lake Oahe, 100%. But that's not a bad thing, right? I mean, they get beat up, maybe they need a little break.
At this point, really, if you think about how good fishing's been, for a lot of people the last couple of years, it's been great. The only complaint that I have is there were too many people taking 11, 12, 13-inch walleye out of the system. That to me, that hurt more than taking the big ones out of Lake Oahe. I just don't like seeing that, because the little fish are going to grow up to be the next catch, right? I mean, whether it's the next catch for a legitimate limit. And when I say that, I'm talking 15, 16, 17. These little ones, anything under 15, I'm sorry, it's just not. I get it when you're one fish down and you want your limit, you want to wrap it up and you catch that 14, and the 14s on Oahe have been, I mean, they look like a 15. They're chunky.
Yeah.
They're just short, but and then you see that report from Erie, the gizzard shad and everything out there having that perfect storm. You got all those short, fat walleye, where they're coming, you got the 10 pounders that are 28 inches, or you got the 12 pounder that's 28, 29 inches, or you look at the guy that won the walleye slam in the fall brawl. What was 11 and a half pounds, and they were 20, it was 29 and a half. And that should have been all of 30 and a half, 31, whatever. And here again, does it really matter? Because these fish are fabulous.
Yeah, they're healthy. They're healthy fish, which is great. Old Sean Graham's, Merry Christmas to you, buddy. I don't think you'll be seeing us over east this coming weekend. I don't have any plans to go. Got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's a bummer. When so that's the NPAA conference. When is that? Is that next weekend?
Yeah, January 5th weekend.
Oh yeah, that sucks. I'd really like to go to that, because they're in Bloomington, right?
Yeah, they're in the cities. Yep.
Yeah. So here we are. They're back in the upper Midwest. I just after this going to Mobridge thing's been really awesome, but I've got my head in work, which is really getting in the way of all my fishing and my writing and all that stuff, which whatever, it can take a back seat to it for a while. That's fine. But I missed out on the ice shows, and I will be honest, the way the ice shows have been the last couple of years, they just haven't been exciting enough to drive 6.5 hours, 7 hours to go to one. The only thing that would make it worthwhile is the people. Right, because I miss seeing Brian Brosdahl and Heather, and I run into Dana every once in a while. I don't even think she sees me at these things, and I always wave, but she's busy. Whatever. Next time I see her in person, though, I'm gonna stop her and give her some shit. But I like to call her Minnesota's Bass sweetheart. She's a good gal. She's a ton of fun. She raises those girls of hers on her own, and she heads south, and I think she's been down south doing the bass thing already. And that's, I mean, my hat's off to you, Dana. You're doing a great job. There's a lot of people doing good stuff out there. It's a lot of fun watching. TJ Erickson and Brett Blumendahl and Tom Boley and all these guys. It's fun to watch them, and some of these guys are doing it right. They're really doing it right. And I'm excited to see how the fishing crew looks here. You're working on a bunch of stuff that's going to change.
Released the schedule this last week. Email will be going out soon. Registration is at New Year's on midnight on New Year's. So don't miss out on that. The Gov Cup is going to fill fast, I got a feeling, and hope they all fill fast. Big schedule. We're going to have an ice event in Devils Lake, North Dakota, the first weekend of March. Little unique there. We're going to do 50 snow bears, 4-man teams. And then we're going to do a 52 people open event in like portables or hard shacks or whatever. So we'll have 400 anglers hopefully hitting the ice and out of Devil's Lake, out of Woodlands, out of the new shores. If you've not seen it, it's we got to tour it.
Ooh. Oh,
They were laying, correct me if I'm wrong, they were laying flooring when we were there.
Yeah, and a lot of it.
A lot of flooring.
A lot.
But yeah, we're looking pretty excited to that. We're working with the Woodlands Resort, the Blanchfields up there, Warren and Kyle and Landon up there to get this event going. It's going to be pretty fun and planned to be an annual event at Devil's Lake. So kind of gets back into the ice realm a little bit and then go from there right to April, Cedar Shores to, bang, bang, bang. We're going to be going. So look forward to the year. Be watching your emails for all the information coming out about signing up for the tournament. And I'm not gonna let the cat out of the bag, but we got some people see some new stuff come New Year's Eve. So pretty excited about what's coming on New Year's Eve. And I'm super pumped for the season coming. I've been a long off season doing a lot of, we haven't stopped, man. There's been planning meetings. There's been, all kinds of different stuff that we've done. Me and you talk nonstop, right? Little less now that you're in Mobridge because you're working past 10 a.m.
yeah, a little 4:30 in the morning to 4:30 in the afternoon. It's a little different, but
you're getting your keep right now. You're getting it out of the way before summer hits. So.
Damn straight, because they're not going to see me once the ice is off. And I'm like, no, that's it. It's time to walleye fish.
You remember all those long days in the winter? Yep. Now it's time to go. So
it's go time.
Yeah, I don't know if we can get you broke away for a couple weekends. I want to get out and do some ice fishing and some filming on the ice.
And see, that's the weird thing. I could break away, and I just can't do it now.
Yeah.
I needed the change. I needed the something different. And it is a ton of fun. I love where I live. I've never been more excited to come home. And I love that. And it's so cool. But there's just something different about living up in Mobridge. I'm away from a lot for July 17th, 18th. Oh, yeah, great. Yeah.
So 17th, Sean will be rules meeting for the Governor's Cup. 18th, 19th, you fish. So let me double check that, make sure I said that right. But I thought I scrolled through the calendar. Yeah, 18th, 19th are tournament dates, 200 teams. It's going to be a good one. And hope to see Sean Grams and Tom Wynn there. It'd be a lot of fun to watch those boys compete. So, old Felby, happy holidays, buddy.
I'm excited. I'm excited for 2026 because we've got is it the National Walleye Tour? Who's coming to Mobridge? I should know that right off the tip of my tongue.
National Walleye Trail is coming to Mobridge.
Yeah, National Walleye Tour is there. So
yep.
Yeah. So they're going to be there. I'm going to be right there in Mobridge for the big ice fishing tournament. So I get to see all that firsthand for the first time.
Have you ever been to that?
No, because I didn't want to drive 5 hours to because by the time you decide you want to go, there isn't a motel room in it you got to go stay in Bismarck for Pete's sake.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a motel open in Pierre. As a matter of fact, I might have to go to Dickinson to stay. So just wasn't worth the hassle. But now I live right there, and I'm really excited just to see how the whole thing works and for the people, to see the people, meet the people. Eric Brandwright, I think, fishes that thing every year, I think with his dad.
Yep.
I haven't seen Eric for quite some time, so it'd be great to see him again.
Merry Christmas, Sheldon. Sheldon will probably be there for Mobridge Ice Tournament. He usually is.
Yeah.
Usually passing out some Cloverdale and driving around in his Snow Bear. So
I thought I was going to see Sheldon up in Bismarck, and I was going to go to Shields Ice Fest. He was up there, and then wouldn't you know it, work called, and a gal took time off, and guess who had to work on Saturday? So I haven't worked a Saturday since I was 19. I'm like, I guess I'll work the Saturday then, and that's fine. Whatever, I don't care.
I think I figured out your problem. You got to hire some more guys under you, so you're not the FNG anymore.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that and that's the sad thing. The FNG at 59. I'm like, oh, hold the phone here. Wait. okay, this isn't my first freaking rodeo. I mean, I'm sorry, but I've been doing radio a long time. I got this figured out. Whatever. I'm just teasing, but yeah, that's the hard part when you're the F and G at 60. It's just kind of like, what the heck? Seriously?
Hey,
but
I can tell, like I told you several times, it's been a good change for you.
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing wrong with Brookings. There was nothing wrong with the radio station. There was, I think, things. Part of my situation, I went from Rugby, North Dakota, this little podunk AM station, to Y94 in Fargo, and I worked with people that went on and worked in bigger markets, and I worked with great people, and they knew. Really, Eric, Merry Christmas. They really knew they did radio. We did radio right. We did it. And then I kept moving, going, what the heck? So I was at the top of the heap at 18 and 19 and learning from great people. And then things just started to digress. And I felt like I lost myself, and I'd lost myself for a long time. And now I go to Mobridge, and you want to talk about a smart ass on the radio. I mean, I'm having a good time. I mean, and I'm still trying to make, I haven't even really got started, for the simple fact that everything's got to become second nature. Everything I'm using in Mobridge is 100% different than I've used since I was 14, right? So I got a lot of learning to do. And once that becomes second nature, then it's going to be a ton of fun. So, Mom just said, Brian, it's time for bed. I'm like, oh crap, really?
You're at your mommy's and she said you to bed.
I met Mom. She's standing here holding a bottle of Geritol and a glass of water, and I'm like, no shit, really? She goes, I've got some Flintstones if you need them.
She's ready to tuck you in and read your bedtime story, or what?
Do you want me to warm up the milk? And I'm like, it's great to be home, boys and girls. Yeah, it's great to be home.
I mean, looking forward to the ice season coming up. We weren't going to take a lot of time tonight just because it's Christmas Eve, and we appreciate all the people jumping on and following along. And it's when the date Wednesday falls on Christmas Eve, and when New Year's falls on Christmas Eve, guess what? We still go live. We haven't missed one yet, and don't plan on it. We've had some special guests along the way. We've had some remote. I think I've been on the side of the road a time or two. I've been
at the ballpark at the Twins game. Whatever.
I've been to Arkansas. I mean, we've taken the show on the road, and we enjoy everybody each and every week following along. I mean, if I'm thankful for one thing, and thankful for a lot of things, but I'm very thankful for our loyal listeners on this show, people that comment every week. I think Uncle Lou's been slacking lately. He's usually the second or third comment. He used to be the very first. Yeah, he used to be the very first comment. But I mean, appreciate all the people chiming in. Really appreciate all the guests. Taking their time to jump on our show every week. And when we first started this, it was like, we had conversations like we were nervous to ask people for their time.
Right.
And we're like, hey, we'll do it in like 15 minutes. And they go a half hour. And then we're like, okay, a half hour is all we need. Then they go 45 minutes. And then now we're like, it's going to be about an hour, guys. Like, that's what it's going to be. Yeah,
it's way too easy. And honestly, I'm surprised at the number of people that have popped on and commented candy bar. People like Mark popping on real quick on Christmas Eve. Just even if they're not watching the whole thing, they're popping on, they're saying hi. And it makes a guy realize that you got to keep it going. And I think, we've got some good guests, great guests planned. I don't know what's going to happen in 26, but I hope we absolutely shred walleye and just pile on the walleye info.
Mark said his skid shack is ready to rock.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to have to get pictures. So Mark built his own skid shack, but now he built a trailer for the skid shack.
He sent me some pictures on Facebook. I saw that.
You did see that. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, now that makes a ton of sense for a guy that's got a skid shack. And
Uncle
don't
Lou
want to.
said, "Don't think you'd be on tonight, but glad you are." Hey, we've yet to miss a Wednesday night yet.
Yeah, what the heck?
You know, and sorry you got to listen to us two ramble about nonsense, but we're on, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's been that way, and it happens. This whole show was meant to fill a gap for the fishing crew between tournaments and seasons, right? So there was no promise of the best guests ever. There was no promise of being the number one podcast. It was just meant for you and I to get on and BS our way through stuff.
come on, we are the most
self-awarded.
We're the most self-awarded walleye podcast.
Yeah, the most participation awards of any walleye fishing podcast.
I mean, that's why you had to move to a new house. You couldn't even get the participation ribbons in the tiny cabin anymore.
Yeah, no, there just wasn't room for any of this. We had so many participation awards that they didn't fit in 2 boxes, and frankly, I just couldn't even bring them. I just couldn't do it. Now I'm really understanding when everybody's like,
"What do you got your guests diving into the phone?"
Yeah.
Dane, Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
it was great to meet you this fall, Chasen.
Oh yes, you left before I could say goodbye. I'm like, hey, wait a minute, where the hell Dane? Where did he go? And like, oh, they left. I'm like, I wanted to say goodbye because I thought I was being a jerk because some other guys came in and I started talking to them, and so the conversation shifted, and I kind of felt bad. So. It was great to meet him. And
Sheldon says, I hope I can make the list, the 26 list. Well, an easy way to do it, Sheldon's win a tournament. That's an easy way to do it.
You take first place and you're on. Or I guess come to Devil's Lake and share a room with me, sicker than a dog. Poor guy. That we went up to Devil's Lake and Sheldon was, I don't know what sick he was, but he was sicker than sick. And I'm like, oh, we're roommates. And, I didn't get sick. It wasn't like we were, he was in the bed over there. I was in the bed over here, and everything was all fine and dandy. But
yeah, I'm sure we'll see Sheldon at the Devil's Lake Ice event. So we'll have him on for sure. And I mean, we're going to have a show about that coming up. We're going to have some biologists we're working on, some stuff about the new RAS systems. I know we talked with the, Wildlife Coalition about the RAS systems, but we're going to have the guy behind the RAS systems one of these days on. It's just trying to get all the schedules lined up, and then we plan on doing a Lake Oahe update, a Lake Sharp update, a Francis Case update, and probably in Northeast South Dakota update.
Yeah, that one excites me more than anything. I hope we can pull that off. Right? Yeah,
so we'll get them 3 on there. If we need to, if people like and want to hear about the hills area, southeastern South Dakota, there's not much. None of us really dabble in that area, but not saying we wouldn't go there. But I figure if we dabble, we talk about Lake Oahe all the way down to, Pigstown for Francis Case, take North Dakota border to Pigstown. And then we branch into that northeastern South Dakota to learn what our lakes are doing, and we get one-on-one with these guys. And it's, I've sat in a lot of the status of the lake meetings in Pierre. You'll probably get to sit in your first one in Mobridge this year.
Oh, I probably should do that.
When they do the annual meeting up there. And it's really interesting. I've listened to the biologist talk quite a few times, but when we had Mark on last year, I thought we got way more information out of him than we've ever got in one of those seminars. We just learned so much, and it was like he was more comfortable. And I don't know if it's because he wasn't worried about like 30,000 questions coming his way from an open forum.
No, I think he could talk. He could share what's on his mind. Yep. We had questions for him, but they weren't going to be stumper kind of questions.
Oh, hey, Uncle Lou, we're not scared of the Southeast at all. But no. I mean, the fisheries down there, to get a biologist on, I mean, I don't know. Maybe we should. Maybe be interesting to hear about Lewis and Clark and that area of the state. But I mean, Lewis and Clark is such that tricky fishery. It truly is a tricky fishery. So now I'm just looking forward to having all those biologists on and learning about what's going on in these systems, and get a chance to listen to them, listen about the morass systems. I know I think there's legislation coming. I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure I heard there's legislation coming about funding a new fishery up in the Northeast or revamping like Blue Dog.
Really?
Yeah, so that's a possibility for legislation this year, which is a great thing. I mean, we need it.
Right.
I was talking to our buddy Teaslink today, and we were talking about stocking ponds and, the old rearing ponds. I don't think we have rearing ponds anymore.
No, I think they've pretty much taken the fish out of them, at least in the Northeast, right? Or in the eastern part of the state, I should say.
Yeah, maybe the hills has some rearing ponds or something.
They might have.
That Northeast, 96, 97, when all them rearing ponds flooded and, God stocked all the lakes for us.
Right.
It was, that was just a natural stocking because Blue Dog flooded.
Right.
And look what happened there. So, it'd be interesting going up to our friends up north, Devil's Lake, man. Devil's Lake's perch is they're going to stock. They're going to stock the perch come this spring for maybe first time ever. Yeah,
it's the population's a little iffy. Warden C, I can't remember, CSEA, I think it is his last name, with North Dakota Game and Fish. He commented recently about the walleye and about the perch. And the perch he said the perch bite's going to be tough. Yeah, still going to probably catch an occasional 2-pounder, but Devil's Lake's always been you weren't going to go up there and get a guaranteed 2-pounder, but you could go up there, and if you went up there fishing 5 times, three trips, you'd catch 2-pound walleye and you'd get into nice ones, right?
2-pound perch.
I mean 2-pound perch. Yeah, sorry. So things are changing in that fishery up there, but it's bound to, because you've had a ton of people going up there and fishing.
Yeah.
And I think you have more fishermen pulling 2-pound perch out and taking them home than the system's producing 2-pound perch.
Well, I don't think it's a 2-pound perch, right? I don't think it's necessarily a 2-pound perch, but I think they've got some issues. Maybe the water isn't rising like it used to. Natural rise of the lake. Maybe they've got it controlled to where it ain't drowning more farmland, and walleyes can spawn on a gravelly, rocky bottom, right?
Yep, without a problem.
Perch and them fish need to hang their fry. Right. So they need trees and they need branches and they need weeds. And, so if you don't have a bunch of new and all the little stuff is broke off, it's a lot harder for fish to reproduce.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because right, that is the truth. And I'm sure if we can get Johnny Candle on to talk about Devil's Lake anytime, and maybe we'll do that later in the winter here before he ends up coming home and getting busy. But I think you're closer on that than I was on the 2-pound perch thing.
Yeah,
that makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, if you got to have numbers to grow big ones, right? Yep. I mean, not every perch is designed to be at 2 pounds, right? I mean, it's just like not every human's designed to be 6 foot, 185 pounds, right? I mean, it's all shapes and sizes out there, So genetics comes into play, and it's funny when you look at a family that everybody's 5'10", and all of a sudden you got the son that's 6'2", and they don't know where it came from, right? I mean, you have those. It's that's why the genetics matter, and that's why stocking more fish matters. I think we're all about stocking on this show. I think we've proven that over and over and over. I'm never going to say not stock. Like, they told us Lake Oahe, like that for years. They told us it wouldn't make a difference. It's too many acres. We can't put enough fish in. Well, 4 or 5 years into it, guess what? They're saying different story. Yeah. So
I don't think we know unless we try it.
Every little bit helps, man. Every little bit helps. So, I mean, looking forward to hearing about that stuff. this time of year we get a little slow. Me and you get a little frustrated on what we can get for guests. If anybody's got an idea, we've never really asked that, but if anybody wants to see anything or hear about a topic or anything like that, reach out to us. Shoot one of us a message and we'll see what we can do to track somebody down. And we've never really asked for that stuff. I mean, I guess our first dabble with it was when we started just rambling about pulling crankbaits, and then we got on Mark, with precision trolling. That was great.
Romanek, we got Mark Romanek on.
Yeah, I mean, that was great. That was a great episode. So, and guys, go back and look at our YouTube pages if you want to see something. Maybe you're a new listener, go back and look at all the old stuff. You can listen to it on Spotify, iHeartRadio, pretty much every one of our episodes are on those. So we've been doing this for, April makes 3 years, buddy. Can you believe that?
I know,
3 years.
I know. That's pretty crazy how time flies. The thing is, you go back to those episodes, or you go back to those between hook sets from the past, and it's not in anything you and I say, right? It's the guests we've had, and we've had everybody on.
Yeah.
I mean, not everybody, but we've had a lot of people on, and they've said some great stuff. There's been, Mark Finsel. Go back and watch Mark Finsel. I just ran a whole bunch of Mark Finsel on In Through the Outdoors because I went back and listened again and went, wait a minute. I forgot he said that, and that was awesome. That was paramount. That was good. So, it's certainly worth the time. And I see we've done a half an hour, which is great. And I hate to say I got to shut it off, but your mom is yelling at you. The lights are going to start flickering soon to go to bed. Yep. She's got my bedtime snack ready to roll. And
the milk is warm. It's cooled down to the right temperature for you.
Yeah. Yes. And I've got to take my Geritol. So
Logan, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, all right, man. Oh yeah, Merry Christmas. Hey,
you miss Logan, you miss Drew.
Look at that. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so glad everybody popped on, even if it was just for a quick second or two. We got great guest ideas coming up. I just hope I can connect with half of the ones that I've got written down, because I think they'll be a ton of fun. We haven't had everybody on, but we've had a great list of guests, and they've been awesome people. And let's see if we can't dig into walleye here and get this stuff figured out. So
Phelby said he's available most weeks for a cameo.
Perfect. I love it.
All right, Merry Christmas to you and your family. Merry Christmas to all our listeners, and guys, thanks for joining us each and every week.
Yeah, you know what? Hold on, because I gotta go up here to I gotta find this thing right here. All right, here we go.